Solid.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to the Red Valkyrie presents.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's cool.
I'm Shae the Red.
And white.
And white, and a little bit of black for that KFC general there. And I'm, of course, with my amazing co-host, CY. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
I've decided this is how we're doing the reveals now. It works better because that intro is so long. I have plenty of time to turn my camera back on.
Yeah, it's been an amazing day of listening to Shae go through a KFC drive-through and explain.
It's like with every bucket. What are you doing, madam? What are you doing?
I legit. Okay, so the KFC closest to me, their lobby is closed because they don't have enough people to run the lobby and the drive-thru. So the drive-thru is open, the lobby is closed. So I couldn't even go in and like discreetly be like, "Hi, this is a really weird request." Like I had to legit go through the drive-thru. So I'm going through the drive-thru. The woman comes on, this really nice, younger, like teenage chick, and she was like, "How can I help you?" And I was like, "I have a very bizarre request." And she's like, "Okay, I'm here for it." And I was like, "I love your enthusiasm already." And I was like, "Can I get a KFC bucket with no chicken in it?" And I was like, "Can I buy one?"
Oh, our diet special, man.
And she starts laughing. And she's like, "Yeah, I got you, pull around." So I pull around. She comes out with 2 different sizes of KFC bucket, right? And she's like, "What's it for?" And I went, "Well, I have a YouTube channel. I do a cosplay. One of the characters wears a bucket as a helmet." And she goes, Yep, that sounds about right. And just hands me, she like looks at the 2 and she goes,
Damn.
"I'm gonna assume the bigger one." Thank you, Corvettis.
She is chock full of 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah, that horrible. What is up? Ooh, how do I say that?
Luto Suava, that's Mrs. Chubb.
Thank you. Hi, Mrs. Chubb.
Luto Slava. Yeah.
Yeah,
Say it, Shae.
I'm just gonna say Mrs. Chubb.
Loves
to you. But yeah, and so she like looked at me, laughed, handed me the bigger one, and she goes, "You'd be shocked how many people come through, especially around Halloween, because their child is going to be Colonel Sanders." And I was like,
terrorize the chicken yard. Yeah.
I was like, I'm really happy that Merry Boys 2 happened to launch near Halloween, so this was a less bizarre request for KFC, apparently. But yeah. So how are you, Chubb? How have you been?
I'm good. Just knackered. I did a like we were talking before the stream started. I did a 10 kilometer, which is about a 6-mile run this morning through the mud. So I'm full of scratches and bruises and marks and things. And I don't run. I'm not a runner. So
you know what's great is tomorrow you'll wake up and be like, "I feel pretty good," and then Tuesday you'll wake up and you'll go, "I want to die." Yeah, it always takes an extra day. Like that first 24 hours, you're like, "Wow, for running 6 miles, I actually feel pretty okay. That's not too bad." And then you'll wake up the next day and be like, "Oh my gosh, nothing works. I can't get out of bed. Like my abs don't know how to flex for me to sit up." Like it, yeah.
It'll be good. Like going up and down stairs is going to be an absolute nightmare.
And England is very big on stairs, so have
fun.
Yeah,
I'll be like a geriatric with piles.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, so for anyone who doesn't know,
Who doesn't
And
know?
I don't know how you don't. First off, I'm wearing a KFC bucket on my head, so you already got to know something's up. And if you don't know what comic Chubb does, I'm just saying, he's kind of wearing it in one of the coolest fucking shirts I've ever gotten. And I loved it so much, I got 2 of them so I could destroy one of them in true punk fashion, but still have one that's intact when I fuck up the one that I destroy. And I still haven't had the guts to cut it. I've got both of them, and I just stare at them, and I'm like, I need to cut one of them up, but I'm so scared I'm going to ruin it. But we're here because Chubb has Mary Boy's Beefheads, which is the second book in the Mary Boys series, correct?
Yeah. It's technically it's a bit different. It's a bit weird because my first campaign was 2 books.
Yeah.
So these were books for my first campaign.
Yeah.
So technically it's the 3rd book, but it's a compilation of stories.
Yes, I'm excited for this. Okay, so before we go any further with that, I am going to play your trailer. And Sai, didn't you have something that you were supposed to have activated?
I don't know, did I?
You did, you jerk. There you go. Alright, so I am going to play your trailer, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it after.
This time with sound.
Here we go. Never far from a bloodstained panel. Heading to the bar with my brothers holding hip to mantle. I smell sinners and I swear I'm running out of cheeks. Father, forgive me, but my tolerance is getting weak. Should I flatten them out or should I take a shot? Bottoms up before I pile up some body parts. The devil's in the bottle, so I guzzle from a glass. With every sip, I feel like taking out the city's trash. A fitting job for a quad of rowdy dumpster babies. We cheat to death, it's only fair that we replenish Hades. Or we could pray they repent and let God sort them. I'd rather make them confess and go to war on them. Perfect setup for the proper sequel. It's proper piece of comics, Mary Boys, there is no equal. Despite our mother's worst intentions, yeah, we walk the valley and cast a shadow with death, the wickedness surrounding. Just want to go to the tavern and pound a couple lagers, but now my boots are painted red.
You had somebody write a fucking song.
I did, and
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's Mark Marinelli of 6 a.m. Comics, who's doing Starfetched.
Oh my gosh, that's Mark.
That's Mark. He did
That's
he
Mark.
He did this rap review of the first campaign comics when he got it, and it absolutely blew. I'm like you. I'm a bit of a goth. You know, I don't do rap, but I loved it. I loved it so much. You know, and I contacted him and said, can you do that again? Can you do another one of those? But a bit like Beastie Boys, you know, and a bit like a bit of Oi sort of sound to it. And he went away, and I thought, oh, he's not going to do this, is he? He's just going to ignore me. And he came back with a whole song. I was
he's like hold my lager,
yeah,
because it's Mary Boys.
It
can't be a beer. Hold my lager, and then he comes back and he's like, how many tracks would you like? Because I got 10. Here you
go. He's massively talented, Mark.
Yeah,
there's nothing he doesn't do.
I mean, don't tell him that, but yeah, he is.
Well, okay, there's nothing. I don't mean there's nothing he won't stoop. I don't mean he'll do any. He's not. No. Anyway, yeah, he's good.
I mean, he might do anything. Let's be real. No, this is awesome. So for anyone, and I fell into this boat with the first book, right? Because I backed your first book, and I remember backing it because I had talked to you, and you seemed like a really nice guy. And I had talked to Wooly, and Wooly was like, dude, Chubb is awesome. And I was like, this story looks really weird. And it looks borderline offensive on certain things, and I'm like, I don't know that I'm gonna enjoy it. And then I was like, I'm gonna back it. I'm just gonna back it. And I literally was like, actually kind of dreading reading it, because you know, you got the Knights Templar, and you have a father, and I was like, I'm like a Christian, and I'm worried it was going to take like a really offensive tone towards that. And I ended up reading it when I got it, and it was instantly one of my most favorite indie comics that I have gotten, and it still holds that title.
Awesome.
It.
A lot of people ask me that. They're like, "So is this taking the mick out of Catholics or the people who are religious?" I said, "No, it's actually one of the few things I don't." That's all.
Yeah, which was so crazy because I saw so many turns where I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be where it happens," and it just doesn't at all, and it's actually very respectful towards like Catholicism as far as like. I'm not going to say it's good, but you had a lot of opportunity where you could have, if you wanted to like put something in there that was going to be offensive, there are so many turns where it could have just easily happened in the story and it wouldn't have seemed out of place, but that's not what the story is. The story is you got these 4 brothers that really like to fight and drink, and they hate all of the scum of the city, and they just handle it. They just handle everybody, and it was so much fucking fun to read. Like, they helped the nice lady across the street, and then she's like some fucking demon, whatever, and I was like, oh no, go back and like slay that or something. Like, go kill the old woman. She's not good. Like,
well, the basic idea is that they're good boys, just a little bit misunderstood.
Yeah.
That's it. Good, wholesome boys, just doing the right thing. Although, yeah, they take it a little bit too far, and I make fun of that, but of them taking it far too far sometimes. But I think there's certain tones in there, and people will get where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah.
The idea is to entertain. It's got a bit of heart. There is a golden thread running through it that people will pick up on. So not everything is a joke, but yeah, I would say the genre is it's pretty much black humor.
Yeah, it really, and it's very well done because it's kind of a hard sell because it's not like your characters are cute. Like they are in their own way. When you had them all shoved in a boot for that little baby pinup, that was kind of adorable in a really creepy, like, I want lima beans now kind of way. But they're like, it's not necessarily gorgeous pinup models and boobs. It's not like super badass pump guy. Like, you've got like this scrawny, like losing his hair decrepit father and these like weird looking sons that he's adopted, and they just beat the shit out of all of these
scrawny kids kicking everybody in the ass.
But they do it so well, and it's always the people in society that you see and you go, you need a good ass kicking, and that's who they go for, and I love it.
I've had a lot of people say, like, you're doing what we wish we could do.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what people will relate to. It's everything that needs to. Should I
doing God's work, kicking the ass of those who need it. I've been talking this whole time.
You're such a jerk.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, why the fuck are people talking over me and no one's responding?
I've said good things, damn it.
Yes, exactly. I don't always, but at this time, I mean, I'm getting some quality in there. Nothing. Fuck.
All right, so explain to us how because this is a little bit different than the previous 2 books, because the previous 2 books were a continuing kind of story that was about the Merry Boys and kind of how they came to be and everything.
Yeah. The first project, the first arc, the 2 issues, I literally wanted to drop people into understand who they are and where they're coming from, because there is a bit of pretext, and it's good to get that out of the way. I mean, you could, like a lot of writers want to get onto the first adventure, and then the origin story comes in later on in increments. But if you've only got 2 issues to play with, then you don't have you kind of have to do that really. This is an expansion of their world, but broken up into four different stories to just paint a better picture of where they live, how things work. And but the point is always it is entertainment. It's for entertainment value. It isn't just exposition for exposition's sake to prepare people for the further arc. It is literally just for sort of slice of life sort of stories. And I also introduced some more characters, which is appropriate now. I think it would have been a bit too much to have done that in the first. So yeah, it's a fun outing because people have been telling me there haven't been enough stories about the boys, and I think somebody also said it was a little bit too much TMO and not enough ass kicking that we wanted to see. So I remedied that, and I thought, okay, we're gonna have a bit of a romp. One's a bit of a touchy-feely story, the liturgy, and then the other three are high octane adventure stories that people will appreciate as well.
That's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know where my cosplay inspiration came from,
Yeah.
I almost died. I came across this scene and I was like, I think this is the only thing in this campaign that I can see that I can even cosplay. And the funny thing is, this is all the way down on my head. So if you ever wondered, one of the things that makes Father look so very unique is he's got like no forehead because he's got all the chin. There's so much chin it took from his forehead.
This is really handy, Shae, because I was wondering if somebody's head could fit into a KFC bucket. I was like, are people going to believe that? It
can. It's not quite as tall as his is, but then again, like I said, if you look, his eye holes are about right here. So if I could put the eyes there, it would have worked. I just I have a normal head as opposed to a 50-foot chin.
And you guys, I mean, I remember like when I was eating a lot of KFC, it was when in South Africa we had these styrofoam buckets.
Yes.
And it looked like that, and it had like a lid with a hole in it. Did you guys have one back then too? Because I was thinking of that because it's been such a long time since I've...
Yeah, oddly enough, I can tell you that these definitely keep your chicken warm because it's hot as shit in here. It's keeping all of my body heat that is trying to escape out of my head in, and I'm waiting for it to start dripping into my eyes, I'm sure.
It keeps you spicy.
Exactly. I'm sealing in my flavor, that's all.
Oh my god.
I had to! Come on! And yeah, I did attempt the chin for anyone who thinks that I copped out on the cosplay. I tried to make the chin, and it just doesn't stay.
I think if it was 2-piece instead of 3-piece, you know what I mean? Like if you remove that middle panel and just joined the top and the bottom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That might have worked a little bit better, maybe. Yep. Just rip it off live, whatever.
Yeah.
Cosplay, for sure. You also need about 3 decades of alcoholism, to get the look completely right.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not willing to start balding on the top, so that's not going to happen. But I am getting better with my bald cap game. So, maybe in a future one, I'll be able to modify a wig to have the kind of balding spot with his tiny sparse hairs and then just the stringy, very much looking like I'm going to murder you and keep you in a basement hairstyle that he sports. Yeah, it's creepy. It's a creepy look that he's got, but his heart's more or less in the right place, which is really funny to say as he is kicking a little person.
Oh.
It's a gangster if it makes you feel any better.
It does, and looking, they look like they're already up to no good, and he's fighting with a broomstick and a trash can lid, so I feel like they've got knives and they're punching him. And I feel like that kick was probably just very well deserved.
Definitely. Right in the chocolate factory.
Oh.
Anyway.
Will says, Shae, how dare you describe my hair? And Maverick Valor Studios, thank you very much for the $10. So it says, Gaslight, can I get a 2-piece and a biscuit and a side of coleslaw? I'm fresh out of all of that. I'm sorry.
It's coming.
I know. I was waiting for it. Come on. I saw the Streamlab pop. I don't see it popping in your screen, though.
I think I know what it is. I think I have it layered wrong.
Oh, probably. It probably popped in the background. We have an angry taco that shows up when someone gives us super chats, and he's adorable. Okay, so your first one you said was liturgy, which is the more heartfelt kind of story. And so, what are the other 3 stories? Like, what are they kind of centering around?
One's a football story, because
Nice.
UK comics. There was a big branch of comics centered on football, like Roy of the Rovers, and in that comic you would have all sorts of five like in a typical British sort of fashion 5-page stories they would carry on, and they were massively popular. I didn't like them all that much, to be honest with you, but some of them were actually quite good. Like Mighty Mouse was pretty good, very well illustrated. Although I'm not a big football fan, so I thought I'd do like a homage, because you can't get more British comics than that.
I mean, you really can't. It's that and the page 3 girls, I think it is. Yeah, that's about the most British things I can think of, would be football and page 3 girls.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be weird. I'm itching to draw a bit of cheesecake, but it's just not going to work in a Mary Boys comic.
Yeah, I don't see how you would shoehorn that in, unless you were going to draw like one of the random, because there's so much like seedy evil within this little town that they happen to be in. You could always draw something real disturbing and have it be like a demonic thing.
Swarm of prostitutes or something. I have to do that somehow. Like the plague of prostitutes. What would be a collective noun for streetwalkers? I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
I almost did that. I almost did like a story involving that, but yeah, that's on the back burner because I got the 4 that I wanted for this one. I thought it would be most appropriate. But
that you're terrible, Will. He says priest in drag. Please.
They're all in drag, they all wear frocks.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited. So you have a football story, and then
the other one's actually a comic book story. It's it's about a comic book convention. And that's they go to Basham's first comic book convention. And it's full of commentary about the industry, and it features cosplayers and things like that. And you'll see what happens. I don't want to give too much away, but it's
awesome.
It's definitely one of the more fun ones. I get to crap all over the main street. In that
it
story.
already happens.
Son of a bitch!
I brought it up, you jackass. Maverick Valor, thank you again for the $10. He said, "Let me even it out." CY.borg Valkyrie said Cy resent the notification so we could show it when they finally fix their layering. And Replicant is saying you could do a horde of hookers, you could do a crowd of courtesans.
A horde of hookers, I like that.
Horde of hookers.
Or horde of horse.
A horde of horse.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Mrs. Chubb, don't hate us.
I'm going to get you struck for something before the end of the show.
It's fine. It'll all be fine.
There are really only... there's really only one thing you could... Well, 2 things you could say. One has to do with the Chinese bug. The other has to do with certain British slang for a cigarette that we're not going to tempt fate.
Oh, right. The thing I used on my first campaign. Yeah. That's just a cigarette, people. In fact, that's why I'm Mary Boys 1 on Twitter, because I started off with a description. I was going to register an account, and it just failed. Then it failed again. Then it failed again. I was like, what is going on? And then eventually I took that out. It went through. Then I put it in, and everything was fine. But that's why I don't have that domain, at least that handle, because of the F word.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny what they decide they're going to be upset about. And I'm sorry for all the noise.
It's very funny sounding.
It is just a bit of a poke, just because I knew that Americans would see this and they wouldn't automatically know what it is. Because you've lived here for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I wanted to point this out. Gordon Goodbrother says, that Mary Boy's shirt has the best design I have seen in a while. For anyone who hasn't seen, those shirts are the coolest fucking things ever. They're nice and thick and a wave.
Just like me. Nice and thick.
They're phenomenal shirts, and I know that they were a pain in the ass for you to do. I almost want to talk to you about potentially looking at doing more, and ways that we might be able to help you out a little bit.
Cool.
So
okay. Yeah. Sure.
We'll talk about it off air, because that is an entirely different conversation. But I've got ideas on how to work around it, because I love the Mary Boys logo. First off, it's the first patch that we ever got in a campaign, right? You're the one that started the patch addiction. I just want you to know that. This is your fault. So anyone who wants to know why Shae is so addicted to patches, it's because this man did the coolest patch ever. And then I was like, why doesn't everybody have a patch? I want all of these patches. I want to put them on everything. So it's all Chubb's fault.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's just because I wanted one, because I'm putting together a battle jacket, and I thought, oh, it'd be so cool if I could have, and then everybody had to have it, because you can't just make one patch. You gotta just one. You can't order one. It's gonna be crazy.
You can, but it's about as expensive as if you order like 100. So you might as well just get 100.
Exactly.
Well,
sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say, I love the design so much. The fact that you put that on the t-shirt, it has the most punk rock feel ever, because it's just so simple, but it's also so like, fuck you, with the kind of design and the way that you've got everything laid out. You got the little like cross star bits on the side, and I don't know, there's just something about the way that you designed it. It looks so badass, and I love it to death.
It was literally just me not knowing typography, because I was trying something really elaborate before, then I just it's late at night, and I just got a really dirty Photoshop brush, and then I went to bed, and the next day I was like, okay, I'll pick this. I'll just out of frustration. But yeah, it's grown on me. It's definitely grown on me.
Yeah, I definitely really like it. I think that it's really identifiable, and the fact that for anyone who wasn't paying attention when I was scrolling, because Chubb is like me and loves patches and wants his battle vest, he's made logger patches. And I love this thing so much. Oh
my god, that dog.
I know, she got a hold of one of my energy drink cans, so she's his wife now.
It's a recycler on four legs.
Well, you got a dog there? You got a dog there?
I have a dog that is in my office with me, and she decided I wasn't paying enough attention to her, and so then she started finding stuff in my little garbage. I have a little like wastebasket here. She starts digging through it, and I've been trying to pull her away from it this whole time. She finally got a bottle out of it. So,
well, a can.
It's like kids and toys. Like you give them all the toys, and they'll play with. They'll play with rusty blades before they play with their own toys.
I mean, she has so many of her toys in here too, and she's like, you know what? This is loud and obnoxious, and you don't want me to have it, so that's what I'm gonna grab. I'm like, yeah. Sounds about right.
That's exactly right.
The other thing I wanted to point out, so this is your 10K stretch goal, and this is 10,000 pounds for anybody. It's not dollars.
Those so will almost be there.
A little farther away than I like, because I think this is really cool. I like how you've done a coat of arms for them, and it's just so perfect. You got their logger, the Virgin Mary, the boots, and their cricket bats, and it's like that's pretty much them. That's just them summed up.
That was going to be the patch, but it's just too detailed for that. The embroidery just wouldn't have translated very well, unless you make it a huge sort of back patch or something, but that becomes prohibitive. So I was itching to use it for something, and I thought, that's. I mean,
we'll talk for the next campaign. So I might have a guy. He's not in England, but we'll see if we can work it out.
It's okay. I don't discriminate between English.
No, I'm just meaning for the shipping purposes. But the guy who did our patches, so he actually took our logo and made them. So we got them blown up as giant back patches, right? Because why wouldn't you? But the thing is I asked him if he could shrink that down and what would be the smallest size, and he was like, we could get it down to like a 5-6 inch patch, no problem. And I was like, that is a perfect size, especially for all the detail, and it still would have,
All right.
So he does really good work, and that's I think that they may have to simplify some things, but I think that they could probably get a lot of that in there. So we'll talk about that too. We got lots to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I like people's input. I like, it's good to network on these things. Yeah, with the t-shirts, I mean, I had these printed in Poland and imported on the recommendation of somebody that I know who's a professional metal musician, and I was like, I know that he was always very sort of particular about the printing of his shirts. So I knew that whoever he's using, it's going to be top notch. So he recommended this guy to me, and amazing to work with. But now post Brexit, there's going to be duties and stuff. So I don't know how much it's going to cost. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do it like that again. So I'll have to look into other options. So suggestions are there for you.
Yeah, I've got some suggestions for you that hopefully will end up working, because they fulfill in multiple parts of the world, and so that's one of the ways that they keep their shipping costs down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that, because I know that the shipping was probably one of the biggest pains in your butt.
Oh jeez, it is. It's so bad because you can't. This is something I discovered too late, is that you can't ship a t-shirt as a large. Let's say it's got to be a small parcel, which is about double the shipping that you would pay, even though it fits into it. It's just because it's a garment. For some reason, you can't classify that. I don't know how it works, but everywhere it's like, even if you ship it domestically, it can't be a large lesson.
I do know that I have seen people be able to fit a nicely folded shirt into a Gemini mailer. So unless they're gonna break open your Geminis, you'd be like, this is a comic book.
Yeah, but they're gonna. That's the thing, because you're gonna
padding.
throw everything on it because it's international, and then when they find out it's not that, then they're gonna send it back to you and with a big dog turd on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There, that was probably one of the biggest pains in the ass when I was in England, was trying to get anything from the States. It was a nightmare. So I commend you guys for everything that you do shipping from England overseas, because that is such a huge pain in the ass. And the fact that you guys haven't been like, nope, we're just not doing it. You're like, no, we are. It just might cost you a little bit. Like, I'm so there for it.
I thought you were talking about the War of Independence there for a second, and I was like, it's okay. I'm not English anyway. It's all right.
Okay, I have to say this story, because one of my favorite parts about when I was in England, because the picking at each other back and forth is fucking amazing. If you're an American in England, it's gonna happen, and as long as you don't get butthurt about it and you roll with it, it's the funniest fucking thing ever. So my base had a tradition every year. They would have the George Washington Ball, and it was a formal event. And first off, I learned the difference between fancy dress and what I would think fancy dress is. So if you say fancy dress to an American, we think that you mean dressing up fancy. If you say fancy dress to a Brit, you're saying it's a costume party. Yeah. So I almost got my boss to go to this thing in costume, because I didn't understand what fancy dress meant. The best part is one of the years that I was there, the theme for our party was the Boston Tea Party.
Wow.
And the takeaway gift for everyone was a little tea mug with a little bag of tea that was actually from the same company as what we dumped in the harbor.
Nice.
So So that's what we gave all the Brits. Is like, thanks for coming to our ball. Here's some of your tea back.
What a backhanded.
The whole thing's called the George Washington Ball. Nothing about this isn't backhanded.
Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly. We had a lot of people, and they'd like look at it and they go, so you're giving us tea as a going away? And they go, just to be clear, everybody, this came from the same company of the tea that we dumped in the harbor. And they were like, you bitch, is it good though? We're like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. They're like, oh, okay. So,
it's like, but that's just it's not the culture. I mean, you break people's balls if you're comfortable with it.
absolutely. It's,
Otherwise, if people don't tear the piss out of you, then you have to worry. Then
yeah, they don't like you. Like at
all.
all. You like somebody this much, you're taking the piss. Like, that's just how it is. Okay, so let's go over your tiers, because you've got a lot of awesome stuff that I think yep.
Right on the chin. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. You know what?
I prefer when giving to do the forehead myself, but yeah.
Nice. Solid. Thank you, Sai.
You're welcome. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Your 2 cents on teabagging. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go over your tiers, because you got some really cool stuff here that I'm really excited for.
There's
All right, your
stuff.
basic book.
Yeah. Well, it's there's a lot of stuff on here, but I didn't want to clutter it up with too much in the tier. So most of the stuff is add-ons. But okay, so there's only three tiers. The basic book tier, which is the top one. That's the 74-page comic. It's black and white. It's got that particular wrapper. I'm pointing to it now, but obviously that isn't going to work.
No, we can completely see it.
That one over there.
That one.
That's one. And that is just as it is. They said describe your tiers as simply as possible. That's the book with the basic cover.
Awesome.
And the size is I've got to describe. I remembered this time. I just described it as 8.3 inches by 11.7 inches. So it's a bit oversized. It's the same size as the old comics. It's
wow.
Nice.
Head for reference.
Which is, Chubb's got a decent sized head. I'm just saying. So
Yeah, a lot of head gets given by Chubb.
All right. So yeah, you got the cathedral variant. Is this also a wraparound?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude.
I drew these things massively. They're like I'm going to give it a UK measurement. It's A1. So it's
Holy shit, that is huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Isn't that like a billboard over here?
It's about it's bigger than the screen over here, so it's hard to.
It's bigger than my screen. You can't see. It's like this.
Exactly. I should have dug it out to show you, because it's all traditional. And I did it with ink dyes, like they used to do in Mad Magazine in the 90s. Jack Davis and all my artistic heroes. They use the same stuff. The Dr. Phil Martin's ink dyes, and it's like watercolor, but you can layer it. It doesn't reactivate.
Well, and it's richer, like the colors that you can get from it. Because I have some of that for like when I do my paintings and stuff. Some of the blacks are richer than any black acrylic I've ever been able to get. But it's runny, so you can do so much cool stuff with it. I love it.
Yeah, there's loads of fun. So
That's so cool.
Well,
and it's you have such a cool, like, kind of washed out, faded look with it, and so when you do like their red Templar crosses, they are so striking because everything else is so kind of subdued tones.
British weather. It's basically everything is a
much.
bit grey. It's a little bit more grey over here than it is anywhere else.
So true. Literally rained every day I was there for 4 years, and that doesn't mean it rained during the day. It just rained at some point every 24-hour period. There was rain. Always.
Solid. And there are the measurements on screen.
That is fucking huge.
2 feet by almost 3 feet.
Jeez. That is gigantic. All right, and then you have the lager tier, which is the best tier and the one that you all should be getting.
That's for people who backed the first comic and want all the new stuff, basically. So
Yes.
it's got both comics with both. It's got 2 comics with a version of each cover. It's got the embroidered new patch. It's got the making of. It's got the Beefheads companion, and that's going to have thumbnails, preparatory sketches, notes, all sorts of things.
Thank you very much, Jason, for the $5. He says backer 137, one of my favorite CG artists. Hi, Cy and Shae. I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like you're one of the most understated CG artists as well. I think a lot of people, more people should know who you are than what seem to know who you are, and that's really upsetting to me that it takes that so few people seem to know about you and Mary Boys, because I love what you do. It's
You
fantastic.
minimized the taco.
The taco, we already read it, and the taco danced.
I saw the taco this time. It's like Sasquatch. It just runs across the screen like in a thing.
Yeah.
He dances.
Stomps back and forth and waves his cheese at us. It would be offensive anywhere else.
As he should.
As he should wave his cheese.
Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate. Jason's been extremely supportive. Really,
Jason's great.
I appreciate
Like a
it.
cup. Very supportive.
What? Okay.
I was gonna say Jason's great, and it's not just because he's my boss.
He's your boss?
I edit Absolute.
Oh.
So he doesn't just pay me to say it. He is also great, but I do get paid. So. Look at him. I cup them all. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Madru says that they loaded their Mary Boys Beefheads with a ton of add-on books.
As it should be.
That is exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
So you get the companion. What exactly is in the companion?
The thing is, I did this in the first campaign. I did something as a stretch goal, which was the making of Mary Boys, which has got had a lot of art. I just didn't think was good enough to put into the comic, and just notes and things about my mindset and stuff in making it. And people seem to really like that.
Oh yeah.
And this time it was like I was making so many sketches. Prep sketches and things, little character sketches for background characters and things that I was going to use. And I thought it would be a shame not to do something with that, because people like the other stuff beforehand. So it's like a little behind the scenes sort of look to the creation process, and just my general process on how I do these comics.
So Jason brings up a good point. He says he's hoping to back again and snag an original page. So are all of the original pages that you're offering, are those just add-ons?
Yeah, they're all. It's an add-on tier for anybody who wants one. It's a bit cheaper than the last campaign, because I think I did overprice them a bit last time. Although we did.
I feel like while I love that you have it as an add-on, I feel like that you should make one more tier that shows original art or something along those lines that obviously whatever it is that you did, you'd have to take off of the add-ons because you can only get it once, right? But make it something that can be your featured tier, so people know that exists, and then you can add a blurb and say there's more featured, like more original artwork being offered as add-ons.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, because
I had no idea you even had that.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff on here. Fine. Yeah, I'll do that. Good shout out. I didn't think anybody would. Yeah, it's just
you didn't think anyone would want your absolutely gorgeous artwork.
It's just weird. It's almost like on the first campaign, there were people who bought multiple books, and I thought, why should you want more than one? Because I saw that, and then everybody was paying more postage. So like somebody was saying, do these as add-ons, because then the postage will even out. Then you can increase that incrementally. I was like, okay, I'll remember that for the next one.
Yeah.
And I forgot about the original art. So yeah,
and that's the thing, is because you've only got these 3 tiers, the first thing that people see should be your featured tier, and it should be like your Gucci, right? And so if you ended up doing a bundle where people could get basically like the lager tier, and I don't know if you're putting if you still have like the cathedral cover and that was one that you were putting up or something, right? Put that up there and make that your featured tier. Make that your like, this is the really like super supporter, massive like Gucci tier. And then you can put in your description, there's also more original art available as add-ons. Mm-hmm. Because that way people know that there is original art in this. This isn't done digitally. You've got physical artwork that people could end up buying and backing.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get on that. I'll definitely get on that.
Yep. Jason, I feel you. I always get outbid as well because I don't have those deep pockets like some of the
You
other
have
guys.
deep pockets, but they're empty.
Yeah, they're really deep. There's nothing in them, and I think that Chubb deserves more than lint and candy wrappers. So
Empty candy wrappers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've eaten the candy. That's why it's just the wrappers.
That's all kinds of sad now.
This is life. This dog. Hold on. I gotta stop her from killing herself. You guys keep talking.
She will cut her mouth. So.
What else?
Indeed.
Let me just say what's on the rest of it. Yeah. So there's 3 prints. One of my prints will come. It was the 2 wraparound covers without the logos and other nonsense, and the one that I drew of the priest riding the pig, and that pretty much makes up that tier. But there's just so much stuff because I've got the old comics, I've got the original art, and I've got some of those original patches left too. So yeah, it's just too much. I should really get a store up or something. It'll make a lot of sense.
So Shae and I were talking about your campaign before you got the invite, and she was saying how much she really likes your patch. That it's simple, but really quality.
It's like me, simple, but special.
Understated.
Simple but very special. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's does Carl ever do digital after these? Art? Well, you mean digital, like as an art wise?
Yeah.
Not anymore. I used to, but now it's just if I'm happy if I can. The only thing digital I do is the lettering, but if I can take that page and scan it in as it is without having to change anything, then I feel like I've achieved what I've set out to do. Pretty much. And what is
awesome.
Of course, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets the Garbage Pail Kids with the side order of Jesus. You all need Jesus.
I feel like that's a great little quote tagline.
Side order of Jesus.
The side order of Jesus.
I need that on a t-shirt.
Right? Okay, so these are all of your add-ons. So you can add on the patch. Mm-hmm. Which is awesome, especially if you're like me and you want 2 patches, so Cy can have a patch and I can have a patch.
I can send you more patches. You don't have to order more,
I already did. Don't worry about it.
I don't mind because I'm going to bulk order anyway, so
and then obviously your Beefhead companion, like you were talking about. I love that you're doing the 3 print set because these wraparound covers are so... It's art. It's so artistic. And being able to get them in a print form so I can... Especially the cathedral one, I really want to put that up on the wall. It's so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a thing for Gothic architecture, so I had to do something. Because it was on the first campaign, I just had such a ball drawing that old church.
Yeah.
So, I had to do it. And
well, the funny thing is, it took me way longer than I would care to admit to find out that you put Mary Boys in the actual glass, because I was like, oh, it's such a pretty virgin cover, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I was like, it's still technically a virgin cover, but also not at all, because it's right there.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's true. Because I'm just normally I would just stick the Beefheads part at the bottom, but yeah.
All right, and then for all of you who missed out on the first campaign, highly, highly, highly recommend you get the first 2 comics in this. Yeah, Unhinged has a good question for you. So, what are the main tools that you use?
For the first campaign, for the first comic, I just use a Winsor & Newton brush, and that was it. For this one, it's a bit tight, so because I got myself a set of Copics too. Those multi-liners, and it's pretty much rubbers, pencils, rulers, brushes, Copics, and dumb luck. That's it.
For anyone who doesn't know, he didn't mean condoms. He meant erasers.
No, you have to say it like the British do. Condoms.
Condoms.
Yes.
You guys didn't say rubbers? Oh, you do. Okay.
We do, but it doesn't. If you ask someone if they have a rubber, you're asking if they have a condom.
I gotta exploit that misunderstanding.
Yes. Look, I legitimately, when I lived in England, we created a document and we did really horrible illustrations for it to talk about the difference between American and British slang and what it meant. And so if you ever want to know, you just talk with Shae, because I remember a lot of these. And I'll help throw whatever I can that is commonly misunderstood phrases between the two. Just so you can exploit it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why not? I've never been to the States. I haven't had the culture shock. The pleasure of the culture shock. One day.
Oh.
I'll
I can tell you this right now. We had a lot of guys that would go to the States for temporary duty for, 2-3 weeks or whatever, and they'd be like, Shae, what do I gotta do to get girls to want to talk to me, American girls to want to talk to me? And I said, open your mouth and speak.
Yeah, but they must have bad teeth.
They were like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, literally, just say something. And he was like, but why? And I go, because your accent, that's all it's gonna take.
Really? So if you walk in and you go say, boy,
I mean, if you want to go Cockney with it, they'll be like, oh, he's a bad British boy. Oh my goodness. That's exactly how it'll go. There was one of the guys who went there didn't believe me. And so he was like, you're no help. And he goes to one of the other guys who had gone, who was a coworker of mine. He's like, what do I got to do to get American broads? And he's like, well, first off, don't call them broads. They don't like that. And I was like, oh yeah, also don't say stupid cow. That means something very different to us.
What does it mean?
So stupid cow, for anyone who doesn't know, stupid cow in England is like you're being silly. Like you're being ridiculous, right? And it's specifically used predominantly for women. Stupid cow to an American girl means that you've said not only are you dumb, you're fat as shit. So if you call a woman a cow or a heifer, you're making a comment on their weight and their appearance. And then throwing stupid in front of it, that's how you get punched. But yeah, so he talks to my other buddy, and he was like, what do I gotta do? And he goes, seriously, it's annoying, you just speak. And he's like, why is it annoying? And he goes, it took me 30 minutes to get my fucking beers because the bartender just kept asking me to say things and then kept calling the other bartenders over, and they all just were like, oh my gosh, his accent's so gorgeous. And he was like, seriously, can I get my fucking lagers? Like, I'm just trying to drink with my boys. Just want my drinks. And they just kept asking him to say things, and he was like, it was straight 30 minutes before I got my beers.
Unless you're from Glasgow, then it's just going to be like, what did he say?
Yeah, no, that's the fun thing. And there's definitely a tipping point, because I know when we have Wooly on, I have a lot of people in the chat, and they're like, I don't understand him. And I was like, yes, Wooly, that was a very good point you made about blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't know why you guys can't understand it, but I'll translate.
It's like I've got a mate who's we call him Scottish Dave because he's tall, ginger, and he speaks with the thickest Glaswegian accent you've ever heard. It
Oh
takes
my
me
gosh.
I've known him for years, but it takes me a good 5 minutes to just tune my ears back into the accent to be able to understand what the hell he's saying. So we were sitting at a pub just outside, and this Chinese lady came around, and I think she was collecting for some panda trust, panda fund, or something like that. And Dave thought he was being clever, and he went like, take your you just thought he was saying something witty. And this Chinese lady, whose English wasn't first language, she looked at us, she looked at Dave, and she said, "Speak English." just totally turned it around, and just didn't understand the bloody thing.
I had something like that with two guys that I was serving with that are from Louisiana. You get two people from Louisiana together with that Creole accent, and you have them talk. I had a friend who was not a native English speaker, and they started talking, and I'm sitting here giggling with my other friends because the whole reason we were like, you two talk, you listen. We wanted to see their reaction. So the whole time I'm laughing, and he leans in and he like really quietly whispers, he's like, "Do you understand what they're saying?" And I was like, "Oh fuck no, I haven't known what they've said for the past 10 minutes. And he's like, "But you're a native English speaker." And I was like, "This ain't English." I was like, "I mean, it is technically, but it's not really English. Like, it's its own thing." And no, I don't understand. Glaswegian. Yes, Chubb did say Glaswegian accent.
Somebody from Glasgow.
And Unhinged says, "Will you be doing another shirt? My first Mary Boys shirt is my favorite, even over my Cyberfrog and Fragaboom shirt."
Oh wow.
Jason, I'm trying to talk him into
the thing, it's just the shipping cost. I feel because the thing is, I'm, had my heart set on doing a screen printed shirt on just two plates. So it's just two colors, bam, simple sort of 1980s punk rock sort of t-shirt. And when you do it like that, it you're going to be sitting with a lot of stock and that you have to ship out physically, that you can't rely on having it printed remotely and then shipped out from the respective country. So shipping costs and things is always a problem. But on the other hand, there are advances in direct to garment that I still have to explore. I just haven't done it. So if I can find something that works and looks good, then I'll do it, because I'm always about quality first. I really want to do something that's gonna look good and it's gonna last.
We're gonna definitely talk, because you have such a cool graphic style with a lot of what you do, and with all of your little things, like your companion has this really cool kind of look. I love how you did companion where it looks like it's cut out of a magazine, but it's still those three colors. And I think doing something like that where you had Merry Boys and then Beefheads was kind of like that would be super cool on a shirt. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot of stuff that would be really, really awesome to see done, that I think you could have done very, very well. So we've got to talk. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I'm selfish and I want this shit for me, but we got to talk.
It'll be nice to do it at a more affordable rate, because I think there's a lot of people who want it, but they're like, "Oh God, I'm not paying that much for shipping."
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He says, "I'll pay whatever you want. I want me shirt." I understand where you're coming from, Jason. And look at that. You're at $95.46 US, so you just broke 7,000 pounds.
Ooh, great! That's a big one. That's a big one. That's a big one. It's almost it's also so awesome. But the thing is, on the last campaign, I think that the total for the campaign end was like 7,100 and something. So we're like close to smashing that. So that's awesome.
And that was after your in demand time, right?
That was at the point it ended with the extended time. So after 60 days, I think we did 7,100 and something. Whereas now we're pretty much there, and we've only been running for 2 weeks. So
that's
less than 2 weeks.
So are you likely going to extend, and are you going in demand?
I'm going to extend. You're not supposed to
Okay.
say it, but it's really about deceiving Indiegogo, so they think it's going to end. Shit, it's going to end. So we better promote it a bit more to give you an extra kick. Everybody
Yeah.
extends. Everybody does. So yeah, I'm going to extend. And yeah, I mean, the thing is about in-demand. What I like and what I think is the appeal of the crowdfunding thing is that people are invested in the process. So after the campaign's over, I'm still going to be posting updates on pages. And in the meantime, I'll be thinking about the next project, maybe talking about that. And I need to get you were saying before that people don't really know me or that much. Like I'm not that well known. I was thinking I've got to ramp up my social media stuff. So I was
Yeah.
thinking of doing something like that, and just but during that process, people become aware of it and still want to back it. If the campaign's over, they can't do that. So I'll keep it on in demand. I've ended.
Awesome.
Yeah, so yeah.
Eric the Guapo's got an interesting question that I think a lot of people might have. What is a Merry Boy?
What is a Merry Boy? It started to the story. Sorry, I should have done this in the beginning when I was just saying what this is about. So basically, the Catholic, right? The teenage Knights Templar, and the Knights Templar were obviously Catholic because back then it was only the Catholic Church. But in the modern context, they're strictly Catholic. It's a Catholic priest, and obviously, so it's all about Mary. That's part of the kind of Catholic mysticism part of the story. There is an apparition, because you see Mary in apparitions nowadays. Every now and again in South America, very often you will see the Lady of Guadalupe, the Virgin Mary appearing in the sky, or that you'll see her appear in the a bark of the tree or something like that, and it'll make the newspapers and stuff like that. And I was thinking that would almost be like it appears to the Mary Boys to indicate the target, is to guide them in their mission to eradicate sin and evil from their small town. And sometimes it's there, and sometimes it isn't. But it's almost like a straight note. It's almost like a guide, like a compass of what they're supposed to do. So that's that. So they're Mary Boys, but also the reason I also used it. There are three reasons. The other reason is because you very often see Catholic schools will be Mary Boys soccer team, Mary Boys whatever. So it's almost ingrained into the public consciousness. Mary Boys will mean Catholic boys, and it's also just the juxtaposition of Mary, girl's name, and boys. It's almost like Boy George. So you kind of look at it and you do a double take and you go, what? Because that, it's got that jarring sort of effect on it, and I hope it creates a bit of intrigue when people read it.
I think that it's a perfect name for the stories that you're telling, and I don't know if you've been checking in the chat, but they're loving you and what you do, and you absolutely, I agree with them. This should be 50K. This should be way higher. This should be a complete smash out hit, because they're such interesting characters, and it's so well told. Like I've had a lot of Indiegogos, right? I've had a lot of Kickstarters. I've had a lot of indie comics come through, and I've read them, and it's been very thank you, CY.
You're welcome.
They've been very lackluster. Usually it's either the art doesn't hold up, or the lettering is too difficult to read, or the story doesn't really do anything or go anywhere. And you don't have that problem, and you haven't had that problem from jump. Like, your first two books, I was so excited after I read the first one. Sorry, Dan. I know, it's just...
Yeah, up above. I scrolled up and saw this. Now I need some fried chicken, and now he's driving for
chicken.
It's like an in-show ad that you've got going there. You should ask someone else for some some scratch.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's going to go to the KFC after the show.
Well, that's the thing that I was getting at with how much I loved book 1 and 2 is your art style is phenomenal. It's perfect for the story that you're telling, and the story that you're telling is complete, well thought out. It's very, very well done, and it's so much fun. So if you haven't gotten this, I need you guys to go get this. I need this to be shared out because Mary Boys and Chubb deserve so much more success. Like, they're happy, you know, Chubb's happy for everything that he's got. I'm telling you, he deserves a hell of a lot more because he's too nice to say it.
I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. It's like a slow burn. I mean, you know, people tend to find out about this by osmosis.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The last campaign, I think it was 570 backers we had in the end. So, you know, people, people were made aware of it during the process of the creation. So, you know, and it's going to be slow again, but yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that we can help put a spotlight out there for you. And, you know, you're already doing phenomenal, and it's been 2 weeks.
It's so much better than last time, which I think, you know, I'm so happy that, you know, there is improvement. You know, there's an uptick in it.
Well, I feel like the first time a lot of people didn't know you because, you know, you were a new creator on the scene, and here's my story, and it's kind of an off the wall one, and I don't know how people are going to take it, but it's kind of Mad Magazine-esque, and it's definitely got that feel with the coloring and the characters and, you know, all of that. And I think a lot of people were like, maybe I'll take a risk. You had a bunch of people that are like, I don't know anything about this or this person, and I'm not gonna bother. And now all that you've got is all those people that took that risk are like, holy fuck, this was amazing. I am so glad that I got in on this because this is one of my top. Like, I'm not even remotely kidding. One of my top books for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a lot of people come, like, you know, message me afterwards saying they really enjoyed it, and that means the world to me. It's really, you know, that's the big thing about, you know, the whole crowdfunding thing. You have to be in touch with everybody. They've got your email address, so they send you messages and stuff like that. And, you know, really appreciate that.
Jason says he was a fan of you since he first saw you on EBS's art auction a couple years back, and you're an okay dude too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, you know what's crazy is we've been talking for over an hour.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, it's an hour and 7 minutes, just ticked over. So we've been talking for over an hour. It doesn't feel like it. And obviously, your connection is phenomenal. I need you to have this same connection when we do the next art auction.
It's like, because like what I was saying before the show started, but I've got a sister who's an actual art professional. You know, she's a proper, not like me, not like a hobbyist. And she's left her Mac Pro. I don't even know what it's called. It's this big. It looks like a big TV. Mac over here, and it's working pretty well. And I'm not going to go buy one. I don't have the money.
You'll certainly steal it, though.
Get what he's saying is get this campaign up higher so he can go and get a better computer. That's what he just said. That's what I heard.
Is it the computer or the internet connection? That's what I'm wondering.
No, it's not the internet connection because we've got good internet. I think it's the processor or something on my laptop. But I've got a brand new laptop, so I'm not really sure. I don't know what it is, but this just works a lot better. And I don't need to put on earphones or use a mic or anything. It's just very user friendly for streaming.
That's awesome. Sai, do you have any other questions for our awesome guest?
Since I was gone for an hour, can we just redo this?
No.
God damn it.
You can scrub back and watch the replay.
That's true. We need the views.
I want a Mary Boys beat 'em up video game.
Yep.
That'd be great. I mean, Mark Marinelli, like I said, was one of the most talented people ever. He makes video games too.
Yeah.
Music, comics, websites, video games, music videos, wrestling shows, you name it. There's nothing Michael's do.
All kinds of craziness.
I think Jason's asking for this.
I ain't giving you no $3.50, you goddamn Loch Ness monster. Get your own goddamn money.
I gave him $1.
She gives him $1.
I thought he'd go away if I gave him $1.
Well, of course it's not gonna go away, Nelly. You give him $1, he's gonna assume you got more.
Was that it?
No, I do believe his question is if you... no,
Anything
if
but
you-
that.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be and why?
Ooh, that's
We ask the hard questions.
an
I
oak.
just thought of a new answer.
I'm an oak because I'm a solid oak. As a South Africanism, we call each other oaks. Like, it's,
Okay.
Yeah, and I like oak. It's oak would be it's hard. It's Afrikaans slang. So this isn't really going to work. Okay, let's try something different. A banana tree, coconut tree, something fruity and tropical.
Well, in truth, about your first answer, English oak is a very strong wood.
Strong word, Chubb. I
Yeah.
know the connection.
No, I'm saying that they make doors and tables out of it. It's very, very sturdy.
Yeah.
That's not where I went with it. Splotgun says, when will Shae cosplay Nessie? When somebody has Nessie in their book for me to cosplay. It'll just be my hand with a sock and googly eyes, and I'll just be like this the whole time, like underneath my desk. Just
Which do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be Chubb, or do you think it'll be like Wooly?
what?
Who will put Nessie in a comic? I think it'd probably be you. Really?
I say Chubb.
A trip up to Scotland. Wow. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
mean-
Wooly.
Dude.
It's right there.
I should try because now that I know you're gonna try and cosplay something specifically in the comic, I must try and play that over.
Yeah, we've done over 250 of these, and I cosplay all of them. So
Jeez, you got some dedication, some serious dedication there.
And whenever she does, and whenever we have the same book on more than once, she picks another character, so she never duplicates.
I love. Hey, when you did your Monster MD cosplay, I love that. That was.
oh yeah,
so
which
cool.
one? The regular one, or when I was the pinup variety that
With
he had?
pinup, with the invisible girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was invisible for both of them. One of them I wrapped myself up and left gaps, so I would still be green screened out. The other one, I just put on a bunch of jewelry and a bustier and wore a green suit so nobody can see me anyway.
That's awesome.
That
It was
was
fun.
so clever. I love that.
Thank you. Well, honestly, this has been such a fucking blast. Like, I don't want to wrap, but we've said everything we can about.
I'm laughing because I just remembered the truth about that cosplay, Shae. You used a Walmart green tablecloth to try to green screen
for the
yourself.
first one. For the first one, yep. And it wasn't Walmart; it was Dollar Tree. It was worse than that. And it was really transparent, so I had to like triple it up to get it green enough that I could actually green screen myself.
Quality, folks. Quality.
There was a lot going on. It was tricky. Thank you so much, Chubb, for hanging out with us. This has been an absolute blast. We got to get you on more.
Yeah. It's. I need to up my social media game. I do. I'm just.
Well,
terrible at it. But now
I know that it's
I've got
difficult.
this. I've got this
Yeah.
machine. You know, now it's
Right.
not like Internet Explorer sort of. Plays and shit going on the whole time. So.
Oh, I love your wife.
I'd be what is she talking about? I'd be a marijuana bush. What?
We are answering
kind
the
of
question
trees.
about what kind of trees we'd be. So I said a money tree, and Shae would just shake me the entire time.
Incessantly.
I better go down and chase my wife off the pipe. She's on the
Terrible. Yeah, I was gonna say, we do our streams that are later at night. I know that can be difficult to get on because of the time difference, but you are always welcome to come hang out on Regen on Friday nights. I know that Jason and Luke would absolutely love to have you on Topic List on Tuesdays. So,
I need to do a show again with Luke and Jason again. Yeah, definitely. I've been neglecting. I feel bad because I haven't spoken to him in a while. And I don't want to be like, oh, I've got a book now. Do you want to come? Do you want me to? Can I come and show my crap book on your show? Now I need you. That's the thing. So I feel very self-conscious about asking people, So can I come on your show?
Look, I can tell you right now, Jason's not gonna have a problem with it. Luke would never have a problem with having you hang around. Both love you to death. Absolutely. And see, look, you're a good man. We know the time difference is a bitch. We all understand that when we go live late at night, for y'all, it's like fucking early in the morning, and I wouldn't be up for someone else's stream like that. So we get it. I'm just reminding you the offer's there if you're ever like having an insomniatic night and you want to hang out somewhere.
I'll do it. No, I'll definitely do it. It'll probably be like you said. You said it was it? No, it wasn't Friday. It was Tuesday. Was it?
Tuesday is Jason
Friday
and Luke's. Yep.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights.
All
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chubb, for hanging out with us. It is always a pleasure. We love having you on. And thank you, CY, for all of your work making this a thing.
Thank you.
Of course.
And the biggest thank you to this badass chat. You guys are epic. We love you to death. And please, please, please
The
go
chat's been
back.
great. Yeah.
They're fantastic. We love them. Go back, Mary Boys Beefheads, and let's get this, like, just to obliterate what the last campaign did. Let's just...
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I really want to see Chubb hit 5 figures British. So in pounds, not in dollars. Let's get him there. It's going to be super easy. I don't know, honestly, how you wouldn't do it. But I would like to see you well into that, because I agree, this should be a $50,000 campaign. You're absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thanks. Really appreciate it, Shae.
All right, well, we will catch you guys later this week on Red Valkyrie. Don't forget, Topic List is on Tuesdays. I believe it is Jason's channel this time, is it not?
I think so.
That feels right. I feel like it's Jason's. If not, it'll be Luke's. So just check both of them, sub to both. It makes life easier. And we will see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.